Hi guys, welcome back to Hairdryer Treatment. I think this is the third time I try and going live, which is why me and Meg are laughing at the moment. But yeah, we're live. Hairdryer Treatment is back. Soph and Meg show. Obviously, a massive result for United yesterday, so we're going to be talking about that first of all. But another big game coming up at the weekend as well, Manchester Derby. Good to see we are live, Meg, so it is working. We're on there. But yeah, Manchester Derby coming up, so we're going to give you a preview for that one as well. But firstly, Meg, how did you feel about yesterday, and how are you?
Hello everyone. Sorry, I've got a little bit of the giggles because me and Sophie have been talking about this, about this question for 5 minutes, and then we realised we weren't live. So I'm feeling good. I'm happy about yesterday's performance. Do you know what? It feels like online, especially as well, that people have got like confidence from it. People are like. There's a bit of a buzz about Manchester United after last night, and it's not. I don't think for me it's not just the result. I think it was the performance as well that have got people talking positively, and like I said, that little bit of a buzz going about. So I'm good. But how are you?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think yesterday's game, obviously, people were writing it off beforehand, saying next two games, Ollie's possibly going to lose his job. Tough games coming up, of course, and Spurs was a tough game yesterday, and an even tougher one coming up at the weekend. I think we're not under illusion of that, but I think the manner of the performance yesterday, like you say, I think you can't say that the players aren't playing for Ollie. They are playing for Ollie. You saw the little clips afterwards as well with him hugging the players. All very positive. I mean, for me, everyone knows my opinion on this channel. Everyone knows that I'm not Ollie out. However, I do agree with why he's being questioned. However, I want him to get time. So I can't say he's changed my opinion. However, yesterday did fill me with a bit more confidence, I've got to be honest. But we just want to see that kind of performance week in, week out. It was probably the best performance we've seen for a while, especially that first half. Yes, I know we conceded and we switched off, and yet again, when we don't take our chances, we do look like we're going to concede and suffer that. But I think, as a whole, across the board, people were fighting for the badge yesterday, and I think that's what we want to see. That's the minimum that we want to see. Good evening to Emily Starr. Mr. E's in the chat modding. Thank you for that, Mr. E. I hope you're good. Sully BJ says, good evening, ladies. The good evening thing hasn't got the same ring to it anymore as it, sadly. But good evening to you. James Price says it was the best performance of the season, I'd say. Yeah. Do you think it was the best performance of the season, Meg?
Definitely. I think, you know what? It was so good to watch. Like, I was actually sat there with a smile on my face. And it was like, I'm not going to say it was like old times, but you know when he first took over and we were playing like football with a bit of style, we were creating things, and I think we've lacked that so often in the last couple of months. It was nice to see us create chances and break a team down. So yeah, the performance-wise, for me, it probably was as best as I can remember for quite a while now.
Yeah, you know, I'd say yeah, it probably is. This is the one performance that you come out afterwards and you feel buzzing about. I mean, the celebrations after the game, and it looked like we'd won the league, to be honest with you. We just beat Spurs at home, which realistically is a game that we should win. But we did play well, and there's an interesting point here. Michael Jones says, great result, but the strike force needs work. And I think, like I say, we're not gullible to the fact that, yes, we're not got a natural goal scorer up front. Greenwood obviously filled in, but we are so weak going forward. It's unbelievable. Obviously, Martial getting injured. You've got Greenwood to fill his boots, and that's a big step up for Mason Greenwood. Yes, I know we all think highly of the kid, but to put him in front of a full stadium at Old Trafford, playing against Spurs, in a team that's under pressure and managers under pressure, I think that's a lot to put on a young man's shoulders, and I do think it shows how weak we are going forwards. I've already mentioned that we've missed a lot of chances, and to me, we missed a lot of chances. Apologies, phone was ringing. And that's got to fall on the shoulders, yes, of the strike force, but also the fact that, of course, we haven't recruited. We sold Lukaku, we never replaced him, and I think you have to hold your hands up and say, you know, that can't fully come onto Ollie's shoulders. Of course it can't. You have to say that Ollie should have recruited, yes, but we don't know what's going on in the background. We don't know if the board didn't back him. We don't know if Ollie said, look, I want this player, and the board haven't supported him in that, or whether Ollie just didn't replace him. So I think from the outside looking in, you have to say, yes, we are struggling going forwards, but is that all on Ollie's shoulders, or do the players have to take some responsibility? And again, do the board have to?
I think if you look at Rashford at the moment, he's coming into fine form now. Like, he played so well last night. And like you said, like Greenwood, he's still young. I think he was so much in the shadow of Rashford last night. If we take away Rashford's performance and solely look at Greenwood, he worked really hard. And I know it's not just about working hard, it's about scoring goals at the end of the day if you're a striker. But I just feel like last night he was particularly in the shadow of Rashford because he had such an outstanding game. And the same with James as well. But like I said, we don't really know what's going on in the background. We know that we need to go out and get someone, in the window, a striker, creative, attacking midfielder. We know that, like, we need to address that issue. It was like when we last summer, we needed to address the defence. Ollie went out and he did address the defence. Yes, we then lost players in our attack, and we didn't replace them. But I think it's so hard to sit here and just say, well, it's easy to sit here and say, we need to do this. We need to go out and buy 5, 6, 7 players at the start of the season. We need to get rid of this person. We need to get rid of that person. It's not that simple. And when you're involved in football, and like, me and Sophie have been playing football, you can't just rip 11 out and then start a whole fresh team. You've got to integrate players. You've got to make partnerships on the pitch. So we've addressed the defence, and I think, well, I would like to think in January that we would address the attacking issue, because you can't rely on is he 17, 18-year-old?
Yeah.
The younger kids coming through as well, not just Greenwood in particular, but we can't just rely on these players. I mean, we had 3 strikers in the squad yesterday. You need more than that, and I know Martial's injured, but we need more attacking options and choices.
Yeah. I mean, you look at the bench, and probably the most attacking player we had on there was Mata, a player that obviously has lost his legs, let's face it. A player that I absolutely adore, but he's not going to influence it too much coming on from the bench. So you're right. Ollie turns to the bench, he hasn't got a lot to choose from, and I do sympathise with him there. One player I want to mention, though, is Fred. For me, yesterday, he was influential in the centre of the park. He was closing it. He was tireless in there. He was like a pit bull. He literally was constantly working hard, constantly badgering the Spurs players, didn't give them any time. Played a few good passes going forwards as well. But I just think he worked so hard for the team yesterday. He fought for the badge, and I thought he was so impressive. So a special shout out to Fred, because he's had a lot of stick. Obviously, the price tag doesn't help him. But I think now he's getting a run of games in the team. I think he's starting to prove himself a little bit.
The run of games in the team, I think that's what's really helped him. We have seen him in the squad now for in the starting 11. I think they said last 15 games he's in the Premier League, or not in the Premier League. I don't know what I'm talking about, but he has been starting for a long time. It's the consistency for me. Look at the weekend just gone. Where was he? He was sloppy. He was poor. And then you get to a game last night, and he's shone again. He worked hard. I've just seen someone put in here on the comments that he needs to break the lines a little bit more with his passing.
Yeah, I think, if I'm honest, I think that's where Fred is sloppy and he loses the ball, because he's trying to play those risky passes, and I think that's where he does try and lose the ball. But me personally, watching it, I think at least he's trying one of those passes, because I think far too often, especially coming from the midfield, we're safe when we play the sideways passes. Let's face it, the boring passes that never going to break a team down. And Fred does give the ball away a lot, but I do think it's because a lot of time he's trying to play those through balls. He's trying to play between the lines, and he's taking a bit of risk in his play, and he is used against him sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, Michael James should put midfield is the United weakness, and I don't think with Scott McTominay in there again, absolutely unreal last night. He had such a good game. He made such a difference, and I think he makes a difference to other players around him.
Yeah, that was my point. Yeah. Because I tweeted McTominay yesterday. I tweeted saying McTominay obviously put some respect on his name. And if I'm honest, yesterday he did give the ball away a few times. He got lucky, to be fair. He lost the ball quite deep in the pitch a few times yesterday, and De Gea obviously got him into jail or wherever it was, or Spurs didn't make the most of it. And I'm not blind to that, but my point is I think Scott McTominay being back in there is what's brought the best out of Fred. I think he's just that insurance policy in the midfield. It breaks up play. He's got the heart. He's got the passion. He's got such a good work ethic as well, and also he keeps it simple. 9 times out of 10, he rarely loses the ball. He plays the right pass, and I've always said it. He's not a glamorous player, but he's the kind of player that you need in a team. Like I say, he works hard. For me, he's probably the only leader that we have got, and he keeps it simple when we need to.
You just said he's a leader. I believe, and from what I can see so far, he is working his way up to one day be a Manchester United captain. He's one of them players where Ollie is giving him a job to do, and he does it. He's disciplined. He controls other players around him. He feeds other players around him. So, and I'm not just talking about passing the ball to him. I'm talking about releasing the players to go and do other things. So Fred and Pereira when they play, they get dragged around left to right. They're not out of position, but they're not central at all times. They do get dragged from side to side, and McTominay is that one that sits and controls where they go. For me, and like you say, you talk about his passion, his determination. He's not one to shy away. And yeah, okay, he is losing the ball a little bit with his passing, and he wasn't 10 out of 10, but he had a quality game last night. And I think that's also where Fred steps up, because he has that, like you said, an insurance policy with Scott McTominay behind him.
Yeah, I completely agree. So obviously the City game coming up at the weekend as well. What's going to happen there? If Martial is back, does Martial step right in for Greenwood, or do you go with the motto you don't change your winning team and keep Greenwood in there? I think that's a bit of a decision really that Ollie has to make. What would you do in that situation?
You need to weigh up the options really. What does it do for a player of Greenwood's age if you're just going to drop him on playing when needed? But out of the two of them, you play whoever is better, in my opinion. You have to look, and they will obviously have a game plan, and they will look to target certain sides or certain individuals within that Man City team. And in particular, we know about their defence at the moment. So I would presume it's going to be either Greenwood or Martial. He's not going to drop Rashford or James.
Yeah.
So which one fits the whole team plan better? And if Martial isn't 100%, do you risk playing Martial when he's not 100%, or do you see how Greenwood is? Or it's a tricky one. For me, it's whoever fits in with the plan, regardless of whether Greenwood was in a winning team or not.
Yeah, I think if you're looking at the City game, realistically they're going to have the majority of the ball. We're going to play in as counter, which I think plays into our hands. I think that's the way we do play under Ollie. So we're going to be trying playing on the break. So obviously James will be playing, Rashford will be playing, because their pace on the break is a constant threat. And if Martial isn't 100%, I agree with you, should he really play? But I can't help but think that Martial will come straight back into this team. I think he's the most natural number 9 that we have got. And I do think we're missing when he's not playing. I must say, though, it does frustrate me a lot of the time, especially when we're playing against teams who do tend to sit in. I think his movement is not good enough. However, if I think we're playing on the counter-attack like we will be, obviously, on Saturday, I think that this will benefit Martial, because there'll be a lot more space. Obviously, with the likes of Rashford and James breaking, I think there'll be a lot more chances for Martial. But for me, his movement isn't good enough. He ambles around quite a lot, especially when it's not going his way, and I find him so frustrating to watch, because he's got so much talent. He's injured a lot lately as well, which is a worry. But for me, he's got so much talent, and I do think we miss him when he's there. He has got that bit of quality. He's our best natural finisher in front of goal. I don't think you can dispute that. But I just want to see him doing a bit more, getting on the ball a little bit more.
Yeah, you mentioned about him ambling about when it's not going his way. And I think if it doesn't go his way and he's on the pitch and you can bring Greenwood in, Greenwood is a busybody. Like, he's he'll work hard for you. He'll pound people down and harm that defence. So do you use that straight away and go all out attack to start with, or do you weigh up the options and say, do you know what, Martial, you go and start, and not hope that it goes his way, but if it's not coming off, at least you've got someone to bring on that will inject energy onto the pitch. I think if Martial comes off the bench, I don't see as much energy. I just see a more naturally gifted finish of the ball, or not a finisher, because I know Greenwood is good, but a player in general. In Martial. Yeah,
I think because it's going to be like a counter-attack game, like I've just said, and also the fact that City can have the majority of the ball, I think we need a player up there who's going to be able to hold the ball up and have that natural link-up play. I don't think Greenwood has got that. I think Greenwood is better with the ball at his feet, running at players. Martial, for me, is better, obviously, trying to link up the play, and I think that's why I would start Martial. He's a bit more physical as well up there, of course. And I just think he fits that game better. But if he's not fully fit, why not just keep Greenwood in there? Don't change your winning team. And who knows what will happen. We already know how short we are going forward. We already know that we're lacking options. We'll wait and see.
I just seen I hope I'm pronouncing names right on the comments, because I apologise if I don't. But Anesi Amir, the defence of City we can get at, but the midfield of City, KDB is on fire, my PFA Player of the Year. Someone's got to go on him.
McTominay is going to have KDB in his pocket. That's what's going to happen. McTominay is going to pocket him.
I was going to say about McTominay and Kevin De Bruyne, I think that would be such a good battle between the two of them.
It would be a good battle, but at the same time we've got to get near City. And like the press is obviously important. Fred's tenacity the other day I thought was fantastic last night. The other day, Fred's tenacity and his willingness to try and get the ball back, his eagerness to try and get the ball back. We need a bit more of that across the pitch against City because, like I say, they're going to dominate possession, and all it takes is for us to try and nick the ball and break on them. If we can nick the ball quite high up, then I think we can be really effective. And yeah, you're right. KDB and McTominay I think would be a good battle because McTominay would not back down. It's just whether he's got, obviously, KDB's intelligence, De Bruyne's intelligence, he finds the little pickpockets, he's intelligent, his movement, and when he does get on the ball, obviously we know how dangerous he can be. So it's all about trying to cut the lines off towards De Bruyne, try and starve him with the ball as much as we can. But it's going to be a tough test, definitely. We've already mentioned how weak our midfield is. One player I want to touch on as well, Pereira, is getting a lot of stick of late. Obviously, he came on yesterday. I don't think I fully agreed with that substitution, if I'm honest. But Ollie brought him on. We call him the pre-season Perlo. We've seen what he can do in pre-season. He's not really been doing it in the Premier League. Do you think that Premier League is simply too much of a step up for him, or do you just think he's just simply out of form at the moment?
I think he's a bit out of form, and I think it's a bit of both. He's out of form because we have seen him at times play quite well, but it's almost like he's playing at 100% and he's not quite there. So even when he is 100%, I don't feel like he wows.
Yeah.
So is it just that he's like a step below? But I think it's harsh to give him so much stick because he has been in the team for a bit now, and he's been doing a job in that midfield. So I don't necessarily agree with the stick, but I also don't agree with him perhaps starting all the time because I just don't think he's quite there.
Yeah. I think with Pereira, we're seeing flashes that he has got the technical ability. Positionally, where is his best position? I think that's the conundrum really for the manager. I think, like I say, technically he's shown in spells like what he can do. But has he really nailed down a position in a starting 11? No, he hasn't for me. We've tried him out on the right-hand side. He's definitely not a winger. We've tried him in the cam. We've tried him in the defensive midfield position. I don't know where his best position is. And I think when he's played abroad, obviously, we know that it's a different side of football out there. And he did impress in La Liga. Maybe he's just more suited to that kind of football. I'm not sure. Of course, I want him to make a career of it at United. Like I say, he has showed that technical ability. He has got it. But he hasn't nailed down a position, and I can't really pinpoint where he is best positioned in a United lineup. I thought it would be in the camp because of, like I say, his technical ability. I thought the number 10 would be the best position for him. But he's been given a few shots there, and he hasn't really impressed. So I think that's the biggest point for me. What is his best position? Red Bearded Red is in the chat. Hi Andrew, hope you're good. Hope you and the family are doing well. I haven't spoken to you for ages. Fantastic for you to be tuning in as well because we've missed seeing you on this channel. McTominay, Fred the Red and Rashford were class. We're going to touch on Rashford now as well because what a performance from him yesterday. You know what, I saw a tweet before the game saying Rashford is going to carry United tonight. He did. His goal, obviously, it was constant threat. His positivity on the ball. I know he does the odd thing where he beats a man and then the simple thing he trips over the ball and he's frustrating at times. But like I said with Fred earlier, he's constantly trying to do something positive. He's trying to do the right thing. He's trying to beat a man rather than play the safe pass. And the lad is on fire. He scored, 9 goals in the league now. He scored more than Mane, who people absolutely rave about. Big up Rashford. I'm a massive Rashford fan and I don't agree with the stick he was getting at Trashford. There's Rashbon Lahore was another one that I saw people referring to him as, and I think it's just really harsh stick. I think he's got a lot of potential. I know he's inconsistent, but yeah, Rashford yesterday was superb, wasn't he, Meg?
I am a big Marcus Rashford fan. I didn't enjoy the fact that people were giving him stick. This whole household is a big Rashford fan. He created so many problems for that Spurs team last night. They couldn't get close to him. They couldn't work out how to stop him. He was running at players. They didn't have the answers to stop him, to halt his presence and dominance across that back line for them. Luke Shaw could have played that ball, better in the final, and he'd have had a hat trick. But yeah, he fully deserved all the praise that he got last night because he was just superb. He has been for a while. I do feel like he's building up to his peak. He's just an all-round talented footballer. I can't say much more about him because I know that everyone is raving about him at the moment. I just hope that continues. I really do. And you look at players and sometimes they stumble. I just hope for Rashford's sake that he continues this form for us.
Yeah, I think being a United fan at the minute, I think we'd all agree that we're playing a style that's we're slow, we're passing the ball, and it's almost like we're waiting for a bit of brilliance from an individual player. And 9 times out of 10, we have to be honest and say that player is Marcus Rashford. I mean, that shot he had yesterday that hit the bar was phenomenal, really unlucky. If that would have gone in, we would have been raving about it. But we were always waiting for that bit of brilliance. Look at the free kick against Chelsea again. That's Marcus Rashford who's producing it. Very rarely do we see anyone else producing that moment. Sometimes Martial will come up with the odd moment, but Rashford is the guy that we're turning to when we're needing a bit of brilliance. And as you've already said, he's exciting. He gets you off your seat. Your household love him. I've seen Lila celebrating goals from Marcus Rashford. He's just an all-round good player, and I think he's definitely a player who needs to be out wide and cut in, especially when he's out on the left and he's cutting in onto his right. That's where he's most dangerous. He's not a centre forward, and I completely agree with that. Turbo Warrior, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. He said, I'm not really sure what's happening to Martial. We badly needed him back, and now he's bang average so much we needed Greenwood. Why is that? I'll let you have a go at that, Meg, first. Do you think Martial is bang average?
I don't think he's bang average. I think we paid the price tag that is slightly too high for him. But how are you supposed to know that he's going to have injuries or he's going to be a liability when he's got a mood on him? You don't know those sort of things until you buy a player and he's been in the squad for a couple of years. He's still pretty young. It's the injuries that concern a lot of people. I think here people are saying that does he have a future at the club?
Yeah, I've seen Andrew has just asked. Yeah.
You don't know that. You can never predict what's going to happen in the future. He could have an injury, that'd be it. He might not have a few injuries for a few years and he might go into fine form like Rashford. You can't predict it. It is a risk, but I think he does have a future with us. I think he definitely has a future this season with us because we haven't got anybody else in that number 9 that I feel suits that position as well as him. I don't think Greenwood is the answer if we sell Martial. I don't even know why I'm talking about selling Martial because I don't ever think that would happen this season. I'd be shocked if we sold Martial this season.
Yeah, I think the thing with Martial, if we're totally honest, I think if we get a Werner in, for example, a proper number 9, Martial will lose his place. I think because he doesn't work hard enough. I think he has got a moment of magic. But is Martial going to be starting as a number 9 if you've got a proper striker in? For example, imagine if we signed someone like, I know it's not going to happen, but if we had someone like Lewandowski playing as a proper striker, is Martial that guy? Is he a proper striker? And I know injuries are contributing to it. I've already mentioned his lack of movement sometimes. I can't see Martial starting week in, week out if we do sign a proper number 9. Then that's me being brutally honest. I'm not saying I want to sell him. I think he's effective. Whether he be effective from the bench or whether we find a different position for him, I'm not sure, but obviously the injuries are a worry. I mean, a similar Dele Alli is another example with slight injuries. He's had niggles, he's had constant hamstring injuries. They're hoping now that he's back to full fitness, and it's in the form of his life at the moment for Jose Mourinho. They're saying, I don't know what he's feeding him for breakfast, but wherever it is, his goal yesterday, again, that touch, credit to Dele Alli for that goal, because I thought it was a great touch and finish. But I just think that, is he being overtrained? Is he being overworked because of the lack of players that we have got going forward? Is it tiredness that is affecting Martial at the moment? I think in spells, Mr. E mentioned it there, he reminds him of Berbatov a bit. It breezes past players sometimes, and I've already said he's our most natural finisher. But if we get a true number 9 in who's going to be constantly fit, is that going to be Martial's time up at United? And do you think he's going to move elsewhere? Is he going to be happy not being a starter or not being the regular first choice of number 9? And it strikes me as a guy who's not going to stay and fight for his place. I think he would rather move elsewhere and play and be that guy. And obviously, I don't know Martial. Maybe he isn't like that, but that's just the impression that I get from his personality.
I think I'm not going to sit in there and slander his name because, he's done so well for Man United.
Yeah, I'm not slandering him. I think he's quality, but
I know, but I think some people say, oh well, he's have a mood on him and blah blah. But I just think he's probably out of form and he hasn't got the service as such.
Yeah.
At times that he deserves to have, and it's just he's one of them players, isn't he, where he needs to have that service. He doesn't, he runs at players, and we've seen him, when he was debuting, he scored against Liverpool, and he's taken players on.
Skirtle.
I think if we were to bring in a true number 9, Martial doesn't fit a 3 up front. he wouldn't play one of those the side roles where Rashford and James are. I think if you were to bring in a true number 9, Martial's one of 2 up front.
Yeah.
So you have to change your style. But that isn't a bad thing, because that gives us more options and more styles of play.
I think if you're looking, I mean, many people mention Bruno Fernandes, Maddison, they're kind of players, the creative midfielders. We have to take into account we are lacking massively that creative spark from midfield. And we've acknowledged that from the start of the season, we know that. And I think a player like that would definitely benefit Martial's game, because he'd have someone to bounce off, someone to link up with. And I've already mentioned, Martial's link-up play for me is quality. That's what I said earlier. I would start him over Greenwood against City if he's fit, because I think his link-up play, his intelligence, I've already mentioned his finishing ability. I just worry that if we get another player in, because of Martial's injuries, I'm stating purely because of the fact that he's constantly getting injured and we can't rely on him due to that, is he going to stick around really and not be number one choice? And I can't see him doing that. And I can't blame him, because he's young. He wants to get back into the France squad, which isn't an easy squad to get into. And like I've already mentioned, he's very talented. But yeah, I do fear for his future with the injuries that are going on at the moment. I'm hoping that it's just a bit of a phase and he gets out of this spell at the moment. It's just a rough patch for him. And I'm hoping obviously the club can support him with that. But he does need to be playing in the right system. And you're right, he needs better service. We mentioned Lukaku not getting the right service at United. His link-up play wasn't good. And we've already said that. Martial's link-up play is good. I would like to see a bit more movement from him, but I think in the right system it can be really effective.
I think as well with Martial, you're saying about him like not sticking around to be not first choice. You look at the likes of the City team, because I think Liverpool have got a pretty standard, their front 3, if they're fit they play, whereas with Man City they've got options, and I think it injects energy into the team, because it's like competition for them. You've got like the Aguero, Jesus, their kind of competition for places. I think it's far superior than our competition for places. So if somebody did come in, you might see a different side to Martial, because he might be like, well, I've got to work hard to get a place now, or to keep my place if I'm starting.
Yeah. I want to touch on Harry Maguire. I mentioned Lindelof before, and I think Lindelof looked decent yesterday. I know they weren't really tested too much, because Spurs didn't offer a lot going forwards. But Harry Maguire, obviously, stupid money we paid for him, but we knew that was going to happen. He's getting a bit of stick lately. People are saying he looks bang average. He's liable for a few mistakes. He still hasn't scored for United as well, I will add, because he was scoring for Leicester. Still hasn't scored for United as well. What's your opinions on him? Has he improved United, or would you label him as average or a liability at the back? Because I've seen that quite a lot lately. I've been seeing people label him as a flop. He was obviously overpriced. I think we can't dispute that he was overpriced, but that was always going to happen because we were desperate to sign him. Leicester were well within their rights to rinse us because they know that we're stupid enough to pay that. But I'm really undecided. At first I was thinking, yes, Harry Maguire's in, he's going to be the leader, he's going to be solid at the back, he's going to be perfect for Lindelof. I've already mentioned that Lindelof is very vulnerable at times. Like I say, decent yesterday. But what's your opinion on Harry Maguire? You're a centre-back. What's your honest opinion on him?
I feel like he hasn't scored because we can't deliver a ball that beats the first player at time.
I would agree with that, but at the same time, I don't know what it is with our corner routines where it is. It seems like we play to ping a ball to the back post of Maguire for him to win the first header, but to almost head it down for somebody else for the second ball, for the reaction. It's not. We haven't really had. Maybe it is because of the lack of quality of delivery that this is happening. But he hasn't really had a ball drilled in that he can attack. But
he looked back to the World Cup last year, and when England were playing, we did that a lot as an England team.
Yeah.
Played the ball from free kicks towards a tall centre half in terms of Harry Maguire, who would then head it down, or at least head it in a certain direction for someone else to attack.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether it's lazy to just be like, well, England did that, so Man United would just aim for Harry Maguire to ping it to Harry Maguire, and then someone else get on the end of it for the second ball. But we haven't got the delivery that the England team's had. Honestly, it's so frustrating to watch. I tweeted it the other day because he's gone all the way up, and it's the most frustrating thing. If you're a centre half, anyone who goes up from the back, and then they go and play a bloody short corner. I think we were losing at the time as well.
Yeah, I remember it happening. I saw your tweet.
And we went and played a short corner. Stop. I can't deal with things like that. it was so frustrating to watch. I just thought, I bet he's absolutely raging in that box right now, because we've got the opportunity to put a ball in the box and we've just gone and patted about, and I think they ended up with a throw-in. So, firstly, I think he hasn't scored because we haven't got the service. He's not average in terms of, if you look at the Premier League standards of defenders, you wouldn't find him in the middle. He would probably be up there. But in terms of Manchester United defenders that we've had in the past, I don't think he's quite there in terms of, when you have, me and you have spoke about the pairing before of Vidic and Ferdinand. He wouldn't break that partnership if they were still playing. Yeah. So he would be like a sideline for them. And I think that's the standard. I mean, that's the standard that I look at, especially when you look at centre-half of Manchester United. I compare it to those two. And I just don't think he's there yet. But I don't write him off, because I do think that he will come good.
Yeah. I agree. I think he's above average. However, obviously he was overpriced. He wasn't worth that money, definitely not. And that's why people obviously are under the illusion that he's a flop. For the price, yeah, he is. If you argue for the price, he is a flop. He's not worth that money, but he was never worth that money at all, and we all knew that. But I just think, someone said here, Maguire is the true captain and not Young. But I think if you're looking at the standard of centre-backs that we had, for example, Phil Jones would be the other guy who would be playing. If we didn't sign Harry Maguire, we'd have Phil Jones and Lindelof there. I feel a lot more assured having Harry Maguire there, definitely. Phil Jones had a cameo against Sheffield United, and look what happened there. So I think that you've got to say we needed Harry Maguire. He's an improvement on what we had, definitely. But, of course, we all aspire. We all want a defender like Van Dijk, for example, who's absolutely world-class. We all want that. But Maguire, he was available. He wanted to come to United. He's Premier League proven, and he's an improvement on Phil Jones. So he ticked all the boxes really for what we wanted. Yes, he was overpriced, but we were willing to pay that. So I think I agree with the service. He hasn't scored because of the lack of service. I think also he's had a very poor team around him. A lot of times he's had the ball at the back and he's looked up and he hasn't had a lot to aim for. So I think there's all this taken into account. I think we judge him after we've made some more signings. We judge him after Ollie has got the team that he wants, or whoever is in charge has got the team that they want at United, and we've implemented their system. It's still early days. People are saying he's the next captain. We shall wait and see. He's definitely got leader capabilities. He definitely has got leader capabilities about him. He possibly could be a future captain, definitely. Alex Marman, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, ladies, we really lack a creative midfielder. We need to address this in January. Should we go after players like Maddison, Ericsson and Fernandes? Who do you think would, one, be available or would be willing to come to United, and two, be the kind of standard that we need in that creative midfielder position?
I'm just going to go off the three players that Alex has just put on there, because thank you for the super chat. So I will use the players that you've addressed so far. You can probably rule out Maddison. Sorry, I'll keep looking this way because I've got a screen in here with the comment on. So sorry, it got half my face. Maddison, you can probably cross him off, because why would you leave Leicester, who are pushing Liverpool for the title? I won't say they're title contenders because I don't want to jinx anything. They're pushing Liverpool for a title. Leave that to then come to Manchester United. So I don't think you'd get Maddison. Bruno Fernandes has just signed a new contract. So I'm just going to rule that out, because I don't think that ship sailed. We missed the opportunity. So I don't think he'd come either. And then Ericsson, he wants to leave. So that's your tick done. You've got a player that doesn't, who is probably available.
Yep.
But I don't know whether he would suit Manchester United. Is he someone that would slow it down too much? Because you have got pace between Rashford and James. I don't know how that would work. I don't know whether I see Ericsson at United or not. I think he's a class player. I think he's creative enough. I'm just not sure whether I feel he's a Manchester United player.
Yeah, I think with Ericsson, I'll be honest, and I've already said it before, I think he flits in and out of games. Is he really consistent enough? But is that because he's not happy at Spurs? Obviously, it could well be. But when he's on it, he's absolutely quality. And obviously, set pieces as well, there'll definitely be a better standard of delivery. We've already mentioned the service not being good enough. I completely agree with the Maddison point. Why would he come to United when Leicester are going to be getting Champions League football? We're going to be struggling to get Europa if we continue the way we're going. So I completely agree with that. I know he loves United from a boy and all this. So I think we need to be getting Champions League if we've got a chance of getting Maddison right now. And again, like Leicester did with Maguire, they would absolutely rinse us for him as well. But I mean, someone put in there Jack Grealish to United. I mean, he loves Villa, absolutely loves Villa. But I mean, I've said before, it would frustrate me, Jack Grealish, because his goal against us is quality, and he's got bags and bags of talent. But for me, sometimes he likes to take that extra touch because he just likes to show off a bit because he's so good on the ball. It's like he wants to beat a man twice sometimes. But there's no doubt in his quality. Would he leave Villa to come to United? I think in terms of obviously the challenge, in terms of possibly getting some European football, of course that's going to be attractive for him. But it strikes me as a guy who's like a one-club man. I know Spurs almost got him not long ago, but then he stayed at Villa. Do you think there's a possibility of him leaving Villa Park to come to United or to go to any other team?
I think he probably will end up leaving Villa at some point because I think that he will look to play at a higher level, so in terms of Europe. If he came to Manchester United, I would actually have to send him a pair of shin pads that aren't made for elves because it's so frustrating to watch him with them shin pads on.
He wears them with like ankle socks, like little trainer socks. He's wearing shin pads and trainer socks.
I can't deal with it. So I'd have to send him some new shin pads. But I think he will leave. Like I said, I think he will look to go to a team that have, European football attracts plenty of players. It's an additional bonus, isn't it? It's more game time, and that's what they want to. Footballers want to play football at the end of the day. So I just don't know what. I mean, it'd be an interesting one if he came to Manchester United because he's a good player.
Yeah.
Look at the Premier League. He's not world class. Do you know what I mean? At the moment, he's good, but I think he's good because he's in a team that shouldn't be so good. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, he's like at the moment he's a big fish in a small pond. Whereas I think if he came to Manchester United, he'd be a small fish in a big pond.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. I think he likes being the guy at Villa, and I think he'll always want to be the guy at Villa. I can't really see him leaving, but who knows? Money can do a lot to a player, and also, like you said, the aspirations of trying to achieve more in his career. Because he's good enough to achieve something in his career, and at Villa, you got to say it's unlikely that he's going to do that. And that's not me disrespecting Villa or anything like that. I'm just saying Jack Grealish at the moment is a guy who is easily the best player at Aston Villa, easily, and I'm sure most Villa fans would say that as well. It's a good point here. He says, Alex says, out of the three I mentioned, I think the most likely would be Eriksen. I would agree with that. I think out of the three that he mentioned, Eriksen could be a possibility. He wants to leave Spurs. It seems like he wants to go abroad. Juventus was the last I heard. But who knows what will happen? I've already mentioned money. Obviously, it'd be a new challenge for him. He's still in England, sadly, so he still has to put up with the horrible weather. But he's the most realistic out of the three that we mentioned. Eriksen, I think, could be swayed the most. But if I'm choosing which one I would like the most, it would be Maddison because I think he's so talented. I love the guy. I think he's absolutely quality. He's still young as well. He's obviously worked his way up the ranks, and I just think he would really improve our side massively. And he's getting better season by season. He's getting more effective. And I know that he's playing obviously in a fantastic team. He's got Tielemans just behind him as well. He was amazing. Vardy just in front of him. He was constantly making runs and constantly being a nightmare for the defenders. He's always giving that attacking player an option. If he comes to United, is he going to have the same runs from Martial? I doubt it very much. I know he's a different player, Martial. But that will affect Maddison's game. I think at Leicester at the moment, it's like a perfect jigsaw puzzle. Everything is falling into place for them. Even obviously replacing Maguire with Lord Farquaad at the back, even that move has worked perfectly. And they're going strength to strength, and I am a Leicester fan as well as a United fan for the rest of the season, apart from when we're playing them, of course. But I'm just hoping that they can get closer to Liverpool and push them all the way to the end. I really do. Because I think they're so exciting to watch. They're my favourite team to watch this season, easily.
Yeah, I think the red-bearded Reds just put, at the end of the day, Leicester is still a selling club, which I agree with. I think they are one of those teams that do well in business, so they know when to sell a player, they know when to keep a player. But I don't see them selling in January, like this transfer window now in January, because I think they recognise that they are the team to go out and push Liverpool the way that they are playing. So they'll probably want to keep hold of their players. They probably want to add players rather than lose anybody. So But it would be Maddison that I'd want to see.
And Maddison's got that work ethic, hasn't he? He works hard for the team as well, and we always want to see players like that at United. He's definitely got that in his game as well. Red Bearded Red, though, I've got to say there, this is a bit controversial, but have Man United at the moment got the same pulling power that we used to have to attract players? I don't think we have. I do not think we're as attractive. I think when Jose was in charge, we were attractive because obviously he's a big name coming in as a manager. Ollie is an unknown manager. Yes, I know he's a legend and all this, and obviously where we are in the table as well. Doesn't look like we're going to be getting Champions League football. If you're a player coming to the Premier League, Leicester's got to be a really attractive option right now because Leicester have got money as well. Let's face it. It used to be United would be able to throw money at players and we would get them in. Every club can do it. Even the smaller clubs in the Premier League can throw money at players nowadays. It's not always about the money. So, yeah, I don't think we've got the same pulling power that we used to have for players. I'd like to think we have, but I just don't sense that at the moment. I really don't. And Big Zed says, Potter apparently is not in the running for the Bayern job. Saeed and Aaron from United Stand and a few others want Poch in. I desperately want Ollie to have some more time because I have faith. What are your thoughts on it? Alright, we've already said that we both want Ollie to be given time and we want it to work out. But if Pochettino wanted to come to United, or say for example Ollie's time was up, would Pochettino be the guy that you would take to replace him?
At the right money, at the right cost, yes, I would. But only at the right cost.
Okay. So, I think for me, Poch would be the guy. Poch would be the guy I would have. If it wasn't Ollie, if it doesn't work out for Ollie, which again, I'm going to reiterate that I'm not saying that's what I want to happen. I want it to work out for Ollie. If it doesn't, no, Pochettino would be the guy I would like to take it. United, definitely. Brendan Rodgers is another one. I know he's got Liverpool past and whatever, but we've already mentioned the job he's doing at Leicester is phenomenal. They're playing exciting football. And obviously, he almost won the league with Liverpool as well. And I'd love him to be the guy that stops Liverpool winning the league this time, can I just add. But, yeah, Pochettino would definitely be the guy that I would go to after Ollie. If Ollie lost his job.
I don't think Poch will wait around, though. And it's like, what do? Do you go out and get him now and say, sorry, Ollie, off you go? Or do you give Ollie time and then hope that if it doesn't work out, hope that Poch hasn't got himself into a new job? But like I said, I would take Poch, just think it would have to be at the right cost. But it's this whole thing, like you said about buying players. We're in that situation where we get so desperate that we just accept any offer that's on the table. Like, there's no negotiations. It's like, you want this amount of money, okay, we'll buy it. Yeah. We'll do it. Because we get ourselves, we've dug ourselves into that much of a rut that we're like, we need to get out. Let's just build a ladder worth of money. That's how I feel anyway.
I think it's that stick or twist feeling, isn't it? I think obviously Klopp, a lot of people want to Klopp at United and we pass that opportunity now. Pochettino is available. Do we let that moment pass or do we stick with sentiment and stick with Ollie? For me, we could keep swapping the manager, but if nothing changes from the top and if the recruitment doesn't change, someone mentioned just Fergie very rarely signed big names. That was the kind of policy that we used to have, and that's the kind of policy that I love to bet United with. Sign players who went under the radar, no one had really heard of them, and then all of a sudden they would turn out to these beasts and these world beaters. And that was down to the management of Fergie, but also we got players who fitted into his system. At the moment, I feel like, we sign players who are ready-made, players who are coming for the money, players who realistically aren't here to fight for the badge and to fight for the manager. I think football has changed. I think you have to also agree with that as well. But I just think that you have to have players who are playing to a certain system, which is why I do feel for Ollie. I think that he needs to be given more time to get more players to fit into his system. If we look at the signings that he has made, they've all been positive, and I just think he deserves that chance. But at the same time, you have to imagine the standard on the pitch has been shocking as well. But yeah, of course, we want Ollie to stay. A lot of people in here get defensive, saying Ollie in, keep Ollie. I will also say as well, you can't judge it purely on one good game yesterday. We need to see a run of games. A lot of people are getting overhyped about the Spurs win yesterday, which was fantastic. But at the same time, we need to be more consistent. We need to see those performances week in, week out. Mark Chadwick says, Fergie made players big. He turned them into superstars. He did turn them into superstars. I completely agree. See what other people are saying. United weren't a sacking club until the Glazers and Woodward. I mean, I agree with the Poch discussion is like, do you stick and twist? Do you stay with Ollie or do you twist and go with Pochettino? Both of them are a risk. I just think that before we make a move, Ollie deserves that bit of extra time. But then, of course, given that extra time, Pochettino could then be taken by another club. Would you take Allegri from Juventus as the United manager? Meg, do you know much about Allegri at Juventus?
Not as much as I know about Poch. So, Poch is it's Premier League. He's been there, done it. He's pushed, with a squad that he never invested in. He's done it in the Premier League. I know he didn't win anything, but he did push teams. He got to a Champions League final. So, for me, it's less of a risk to get Poch in than it is Allegri because he's been here and done it. So I would still go for Poch.
Yeah, Premier League proven Poch and Brendan Rodgers would be my first two choices. Allegri may be after that, but for me, Allegri is quite a defensive manager. We want to see attacking football at United, which is why I'm saying the two mentions of Pochettino, Brendan Rodgers. I think they're more suited to us as a club. Allegri is a very good manager, don't get me wrong, but I just think he's a bit defensive. So if it is that Ollie goes, Pochettino would be my number one, definitely. Just rounding at some of your chats, guys. Roberto's asked when we're doing the FIFA 20 streams. I promise you, hopefully very, very soon. For personal reasons, obviously, I mentioned about PlayStation, obviously, about to blow up by the sounds of it. That's one reason why we haven't. I have mentioned to Meg as well, I think it'd be good to get us both on the stream, doing a FIFA stream at some point. I think that'd be quite entertaining. But Meg has got to get some practice in first, don't you, Meg? For that, she's got to do a bit of preparing. She's not feeling too confident about it. You beat me.
The pass button. That's how poor we are at the moment. Poor I am at the game, not safe.
Well, they're definitely in the pipeline, I can promise you that. And of course, the Soph and Meg show will continue. But we're going to try and mix it up a little bit. I think if we're both playing against each other, it'd be quite entertaining. Andrew says...
I'd have to be the top team and you can be like League 2.
Yeah, but when I beat you, that's going to be more embarrassing for you then. I'm just saying.
But you'd have to start with 9 players.
Deal.
I'm blindfolded and like packed up. You can only play with your thumbs.
It'd be entertaining, definitely entertaining. Andrew says, I don't think Pochettino goes anywhere until the summer, just my opinion. If I'm honest, when he when he got sacked from Spurs, I thought it was lined up that he was going to be going to Bayern Munich. But someone mentioned earlier, apparently he's not in the running, which has surprised me a bit. But I did think that would be the case. Roberto saying, nah, Meg, you would win. Roberto, I thought we were friends. Can't believe you dissing me like this on my own channel.
Roberto, we are now friends.
Jack Ramsey says, no offence, but United will never reach the heights of Sir Alex Ferguson ever again. So when new managers come in, you can't expect to have success straight away. And by the way, can Palace get Europa League at the moment? Palace are actually doing a lot better than I anticipated this season. I thought they were going to be poor. With Zaha being unsettled, I know he's the main guy for them. I thought it would affect them. But he's actually been surprising me a bit this season, Zaha. And also Palace, they've been exceeding my expectations, definitely. What about you, Meg?
They're going about their business.
Yeah,
they're staying out of the drama. They're going about their business. They're getting the results when needed. They pulled a result against us. So, they could, if they carry on the way that they're going, they're in the running. It's so tight in that league. From 5th down to, I don't know where how far it goes down because it's so close.
Yeah.
It's 3 points. You slip up one weekend, you're losing 4 places in the league. You pick points up, you're shooting right up to 5th, 6th place. So if they continue, why not? They go for it.
Yeah. And we'll do this as the last question. Roberto said, how are you at FIFA? I think we've already answered that one. But he said, what do you think of Fred? At the start of the video, we both mentioned that Fred yesterday was superb. His quality, having a run again is really benefiting him. Also, McTominay back in there as well for that extra support in the middle, I think is really benefiting him. And I just hope they can continue this now. We've seen in spells that he can do this. He's had the game, for example, Paris. It was fantastic. And then after that, we dipped again. I'm just hoping Fred can find his feet and prove his worth a little bit. I know he's expensive and that's used against him, but I think he's starting to show it slowly now. Meg, do you think that Fred is going to be a consistent starter from now on?
I think he is. I think Fred is the epitome of the whole of Manchester United right now. He's come with the price tag, so Manchester United come with a name, and then he's inconsistent at times, and it's just like Manchester United as a whole. So we've got this name, Manchester United, and then we do really well against certain teams, which happen to be the big 6 teams, and then we flop against the teams that we should get a result against. Fred has come with a price tag, he's got, he has made it, he's got that price tag for a reason, and then we see why he's got that price tag, and then he flops like he did against Sheffield. So as long as he continues this, then he should be consistently in the team. It's like, I hope, we've all got, like I said at the very start of this video, I've got this little buzz about Manchester United after the performance yesterday. Scrap the 3 points, don't worry about the points, look at the performance, look at the fact that we broke a team down. We created chances, we didn't finish the chances, annoyingly, but we broke a team down. So I hope that just continues.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And I've got another super chat. It says, I loved watching Flex destroying the cocky expressions in their interview. Class A became Class C. Yeah, I was talking through expressions, obviously. I put the picture of me and expressions up as well. Giving him a bit of stick, saying, what do you expect about tomorrow? Knowing deep down that he was thinking that they were going to batter us. Jose Mourinho's in charge. Jose Mourinho, he was calling him, wasn't he? And I was thinking, you're going to eat your words at some point, X. You're going to eat them. And he did eat the words. Pictures afterwards, not as smiley. He's had his head down. He's saying that he's been let down and all this. Spurs were being Spurs. A lot of people expected them to come to Old Trafford yesterday and beat us pretty well. They thought that Jose would be proving his point, and it turned out the other way around. It was more Ollie proving his point. So yeah, I like X, but I also like to see him being let down yesterday. And seeing that cocky smile wiped off his face. That cocky smile. 8 points off the top 4, 7 points off relegation. That does literally simple. That just explains everything about the league this season. You've already mentioned, Meg, how tight it is. We're 8 points off top 4 and 7 points off relegation. How mad is that?
You would never have thought about that in the start of the season. It's normally, it's not settled by this time, but you can kind of work out who's kind of got their 1 foot in the door on top 4 and who's vying for 5th and 6th, and then who's in the relegation battle already. But like I said, we're 7 points off relegation, we're 8 points off top 4. I think top 4 is kind of settled. They've kind of got that gap of points from Chelsea to Wolves, and then it's us. But like I said, you slip up one weekend and you're losing 4 or 5 places in the league. You get points. It's like a 6 point. Every game's a 6 pointer when you're in that block in the middle. So yeah, it'll be a good game at the weekend, I think. So
yeah, right. Last point, Meg, before we round off this video, and I'm going to let you go first today because you moaned last time that I went first. What is your score prediction for the Manchester derby at the weekend?
I am going to go for goals, and I'm going to go for 3-2 Manchester United.
3-2 to Manchester United? So you think you're going to get 3
goals?
I
do feel we will go behind.
Yeah.
But I feel like we'll come back.
So I'm going to be honest, I mean, City recently haven't been playing that well. I know they've been getting results, but then against Burnley the other day, they absolutely battered them. They absolutely battered Burnley the other day. So then I was thinking, oh, well, they're finding the feet again just before the derby. And we always say that form obviously goes out the window when you're playing in a derby game. Form just vanishes, and it's all about who wants it more on the day. Both teams have had a positive result this week now, going into that game. It's going to be a tough one. I just think that our weak midfield are struggling to take our chances, because the chances are going to be few and far between in this game, I do think, for us. I'm going to go for a draw. And I'm going to say, I think both teams will score. I'm going to say a 1-1 draw. In terms of goal scorers, I'm hoping Rashford is going to bag a game, because, like I say, he's been scoring goals for fun lately. He's been fantastic. And then I'm going to say Sterling to score for City. So I'm going to go for a 1-1. I think it's going to be tight. I think we'll score, but I think City will score as well. I'm nervous. I'm nervous. But you have to say the 2 games, if you get 4 points in the 2 games that we have coming up, on the grand scheme of things, it's not too bad for Ollie. People were expecting us to get none. So, yeah. Right. Yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. It's been a fantastic show. There's still people in the chat, which I absolutely love. If you haven't responded to your comments, obviously, drop a comment on the video afterwards and we'll definitely respond to that. Again, thank you so much for the super chats as well. It means a lot. Thank you to Meg for coming on the show.
Thank you everyone for joining in this evening, for all the super chats, for all the comments, questions, for all your support. I feel like I've won an Oscar, so thank you. But no, seriously, thanks everyone for joining us, and we'll see you at some point next week as well.
Yeah.
And we'll hopefully we'll have to do one for Christmas. We'll have to give you a bonus one for Christmas.
Definitely, we'll do a bit of a comedy one. Maybe do a FIFA one, or we'll do some kind of funny video, a Christmas special. Sound like we're doing like a royal family episode or something like that. We're going to do a Christmas special. That'll be coming up before Christmas as well. But thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Really appreciate it. As always, we've got fantastic support on my channel, but in particular for the Soph and Meg show, a lot of people are tuning in. And yeah, we're all smiling because we beat Spurs yesterday. Let's hope we're smiling after the City game at the weekend. Take care. Have a lovely evening, guys. Cheers.